There is a moment right after betrayal when a woman feels the weight of what she has done sitting heavily on her chest. But instead of collapsing under it, she tries to hide it, not because she is proud of it, not because she is cold, but because her mind is trying to protect her from the emotional collapse that comes with admitting the truth. And in that moment, the very first words she speaks are not accidental. They come from instinct, from fear, from guilt, from a psychological need to control the story before the story controls her. Most men miss this moment. You think everything is normal. You think she is just having a bad day, or she's tired, or she's overwhelmed. But something inside you feels different. Her tone, her eyes, her rhythm, her sentences feel rehearsed, even when she claims nothing is wrong. And this is exactly why you need to pay attention, because her first words after betrayal reveal the emotional storm she is hiding beneath her calm surface. One of the most common first phrases is, "I just need some time to think." But she isn't thinking. She is distancing. She is trying to create psychological space between her action and your awareness of it. Time to think is not about clarity. It is about protection. Her mind needs silence to reorganize the guilt into something she can live with. She needs the space to stabilize the emotional chaos before it shows in her face. And so her first instinct is to pull back, not because she wants to leave, but because she cannot let you see her emotional cracks too soon. If she doesn't say that, she might say, "I don't want to talk right now." This isn't just avoidance. It is fear. The fear that one conversation could destroy the fragile emotional wall she's trying to build around her guilt. She knows if you ask too many questions, her voice will break. She knows if you look too deeply into her eyes, she will flinch. And she knows if she speaks too soon, she might reveal the truth by accident. Silence becomes her escape, the safest place for someone who is hiding something heavy. Another common first sentence is, "You've been different lately." This is projection, one of the oldest psychological defenses in the book. She shifts the focus away from her actions and onto you. If she can make you question your own behavior, you won't look too closely at hers. If she can make you feel responsible for the emotional distance, she doesn't have to confront the fact that she created it. This projection is not malicious. It is survival. It is her mind trying to reduce guilt by shifting the emotional burden onto your shoulders. Sometimes her first words come wrapped in irritation. "Why are you acting weird?" Or, "Can you not question every little thing?" The irritation is not about you at all. It is about the guilt she cannot control. Betrayal comes with internal pressure, a heaviness she cannot release, and irritation becomes the mask that hides the nervousness. The angrier she sounds, the more she hopes you'll back off and give her space to calm the emotional storm she is hiding. But the most subtle phrase, the one many men overlooked, is, "I'm just tired." Not physically tired, emotionally tired, guilty tired, anxious tired, the kind of tired that comes from carrying a secret too heavy for her heart and too explosive for her tongue. When she cheats, her emotional energy gets divided into two worlds: the world where she betrayed you and the world where she must pretend she didn't. Pretending is draining. Maintaining normalcy is exhausting. So, "I'm tired" becomes her quiet way of masking guilt with something socially acceptable, something that will not raise suspicion. Then there is the phrase she uses when she fears you might sense something. "Why are you being so insecure?" This is deflection. She is not worried about your insecurity. She is worried about your intuition. Women know when a man begins to sense emotional change. They feel the shift in the air. They see the subtle questions forming in your eyes. So she redirects the pressure back onto you, hoping you will doubt yourself instead of doubting her. Deflection is her emotional smokescreen, a way to hide her guilt behind your confusion. If she is deeply afraid of being discovered, her first words become overly detailed explanations. She starts talking too much, explaining too much, adding unnecessary details to simple stories. Long sentences, fast speech, nervous energy hidden behind forced calmness. Her mind believes that the more she explains, the more believable she sounds. But over-explaining is often the first sign that her internal world has begun to crack. She speaks to protect herself, not to communicate. Another phrase she may use is soft, almost fragile. "I just feel overwhelmed lately." This is emotional fog. A way to make everything blurry so nothing can be examined clearly. Overwhelmed sounds reasonable. It sounds harmless. It sounds unrelated to betrayal. But what she truly feels is overwhelmed by guilt, overwhelmed by fear, overwhelmed by the secret she now carries. The fog protects her. It keeps you from asking sharp questions. It keeps the truth from being cornered too quickly. Some women respond with unusual distance, not in words, but in tone. A soft, emotionless, "I'm fine." The kind of fine that feels hollow. The kind of fine that leaves the room colder. This version of fine is not peace. It is emotional shutdown, the mind's final defense when guilt becomes unbearable. She may feel remorse deeply, but she cannot access it yet. So she freezes emotionally, hoping the numbness will protect her from collapsing under the truth. There is also the first phrase that comes from fear, not guilt. Is something wrong? You're acting strange. She is terrified you can sense the shift. Terrified you can read her body language. Terrified you can see the guilt in her eyes. This question is not about your behavior. It is a test. She wants to hear reassurance. She wants to hear that you noticed nothing. She wants to calm her heartbeat by proving to herself that the secret is still safe. Her question is really a plea. Tell me you haven't discovered what I've done. Another phrase emerges when her guilt becomes too heavy to hide through irritation or distance. I feel like we've been drifting apart. This statement rewrites the emotional timeline. It makes the betrayal feel like the result, not the cause. In her mind, if the relationship was already dying, then her actions feel less like betrayal and more like reaction. This emotional restructuring allows her to look at herself in the mirror without breaking. It is not truth. It is psychological anesthesia. Some women use kindness as their first line of defense. Suddenly she becomes gentle, overly sweet, unexpectedly affectionate. Not because she wants to repair the relationship, but because she is trying to ease her guilt. She believes that being warm makes the betrayal less cruel. This is the guilt-driven kindness that feels slightly unnatural, slightly forced, slightly out of rhythm. It is the kindness of someone terrified of what they've done, but unwilling to speak. And then there is the most chilling phrase of all, I just need a little space. Not because she truly needs space, but because she cannot look at you without feeling the emotional shock of what she did. Distance gives her room to hide. Distance gives her room to silence the guilt. Distance gives her room to stabilize her emotions. Space is not healing. It is escape. These first words matter because they are not really words. They are emotional fingerprints. They reveal the direction her mind is moving. They reveal what she fears. They reveal what she is hiding. And they reveal the quiet war inside her. The war between the truth and the story she is trying to build around it. Cheating does not begin with physical action. It begins with emotional drifting. It begins with silent resentment. It begins with unmet needs she never communicated. It begins with loneliness she never expressed. And by the time the betrayal becomes real, she has built an entire emotional system designed to protect her from feeling the full consequence of what she has done. That is why her first words matter. Not because they prove guilt, not because they reveal the affair, but because they expose the psychology behind betrayal. They expose the mind of someone who is terrified of the truth coming out. They expose the fragile emotional scaffolding holding up her secret. And once you learn how to hear the meaning beneath her words, you can see clearly. Even when she hides everything through calmness, these first sentences are not confessions. They are shields. They are the emotional armor she puts on before facing the man she betrayed. They are the subtle cracks in the mask she tries to hold steady. And they are the quiet indicators that her guilt has already begun to reshape the way she sees you, the relationship, and herself. You don't confront her. You don't interrogate her. You don't react emotionally. You observe. You listen. You stay calm. Because the truth always reveals itself in time. Not through arguments, not through accusations, but through the emotional inconsistencies she cannot control forever. When a woman betrays you, her first words are not the truth. They are the psychological smokescreen built to protect her from the truth. And once you understand the meaning behind those words, you will never be blind to betrayal again.